18 and a half years. According to scientists, that's the amount of time left before all of the fresh water on this planet is used up. That is, if we don't drastically change the tremendously inefficient way we use this vital resource. To do this, we will have to rethink our own behaviors, even those that are mindlessly routine in our day-to-day habits. Such simple things like flushing the toilet. Up to 40% of the world's potable water that we use every day is wasted by literally going straight down the toilet. Hello, and welcome to another episode of Preview of Tomorrow. I am your host, Mike Lake. In today's preview, I will be talking to Ezequiel Vedana da Rosa, whose startup Piipee has made it its mission to reduce the amount of water we waste through our not-so-innocent flushing.
Innovation, resiliency, discovery. Join Mike Lake, President and CEO of Leading Cities, as we explore the technologies shaping the possibilities of our future with a preview of tomorrow.
Ezequiel, hello and welcome. Thank you so much for joining us for this episode of Preview of Tomorrow. I want to thank all of our listeners and viewers for joining us, and I'd like to introduce you all to Ezequiel Vedana da Rosa, the founder of Piipee, a Brazilian-based company that is breaking ground with their water-saving solution for toilets and urinals. Now, let's face it, Ezequiel, talking toilets isn't exactly the sexiest topic out there. But nonetheless, the flushing we all do on a daily basis and take for granted wastes so much water. So tell me, first of all, I want to know a little bit more about you, and then tell all of us how you got to this point where saving water was so important to you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Ezequiel. I'm talking from São Paulo, Brazil, and it's a pleasure to be here participating with Michael. And just to introduce myself, I am 32 years old today, but I am being an entrepreneur since I was 16 years old. So it's almost the half of my life and just living this life of entrepreneur. And it's interesting because as I always try to find solutions and develop companies, etc., I got introduced to the sustainable challenges in 2010 when I wake up one day in March of 2010 with an idea in mind. And I start to study, and I saw how big is the problem about water scarcity and how big is the challenge to face all the problems that we have, not only in Brazil. Of course, in Brazil, we have a lot of water, but there is many countries in different regions around the world that are suffering today with water scarcity. And the numbers are so crazy. And when I just look at the numbers, I saw, okay, in my house, about 30% of the monthly consumption is just in the toilet. Makes no sense for me. So I start to find a way to solve this problem.
Well, that's amazing. And happy birthday to you.
Thank you.
So let's talk a little bit about what you just started to touch on, which is the amount of water that we do consume, and how much of it is through that simple act of flushing.
Everybody, almost everybody, when they wake up in the morning, goes to the toilet. Almost everybody just pee, but everybody just press the flush, and it's so easy, and it's an automatic situation that we even think about doing that. We just press the button and it's okay. But what almost everybody doesn't realize is we are wasting like 8-10 liters of water each time that we do this action. And there is a UN research, the United Nations did a research a few years ago. As I said, my dogs. There's a UN research. They did like 10 years ago something about the water consumption in toilets, and it's up to 40% of the water consumption that we have in the cities are used just in toilets. And when you think, how is the process to get this water, make even less sense about using on this way. We are going to a river or a place to take this water. We make this water travel for kilometers or miles, in US, and we just treat this water and to travel more miles away just to get in your home to pee on the water, And after that, you just press the button to do the same process, just to leave your waste, So it's 40% of the water in the cities. It's more than 15 billion flushes every 24 hours in the world, And in a house, for example, the toilets represent between 25 to 35% of the monthly use of water. In companies, could be 80%. So when I saw all these big numbers and I said, okay, it's a huge problem, and who is doing something about it,
Yeah.
As we do this like an automatic situation in our day, we don't think too much. But when I saw the numbers, I said, okay, we have an opportunity here. I like to be an entrepreneur. I like to find solutions for problems. And okay, what I'm doing about this? And it's not just about making money, it's not just about having a product, but when I can see a house where people can save 30% of the water consumption, it means that we are saving lives as well, because water is life. It's possible to live. Just to give you an example, if you 1 year flushing the toilet, you use water that you can have to live for 15 years. So it's too much water wasted in the toilet for no reason almost.
I mean, that's an incredible statistic. In 1 year to waste a lifetime's worth of,
15.
or
Yeah.
you said 15 years.
15, yes, 15.
I mean, 15 years worth of water. That's unbelievable. To give some of our listeners a perspective on this, that means for the average family of four, we're talking about on a weekly basis about over 800, almost 900 gallons of water.
Yeah.
It's an incredible amount that literally goes right down the toilet.
Yeah. And actually, you just not use just to come the water, but the wastewater as well. So you almost are using that as twice, because you flush the first time, you pee, for example, and you flush again. So you can double this number sometimes. It's incredible.
Well, speaking of doubling up on things, I don't think many people realize that we pay, at least here in the U.S., we pay for water to come into our house, and we actually pay more for the water to leave the house.
Yeah, for sure.
So reducing the amount of water going out is not only cutting the water consumption, but it's also a cost savings.
Yeah,
as well.
For the wastewater. Yeah.
So, all right, it's clear that flushing is not the answer as much as it is the action we're also familiar with. So what's the alternative?
Today, people have many alternatives to save water. You can try to put a vacuum toilet. You can change your toilet for an eco toilet or something like that. And when I started to study the problem, I just found these kind of solutions. But as I'm Brazilian, and in Brazil, we like to find easy ways to do some things all the time, It's just clarifying something. We are not lazy people, We just like to make things in the easiest way as possible. So I saw, okay, it's interesting, this kind of solutions, but imagine like a college or something, or a company with 1,000 toilets. Imagine how much money they will expend or need to change 1,000 toilets, how many time it will take to change, etc. And I say, okay, there is nothing that is just like a plug and play solution, very easy to use, etc. And wasn't, So I saw an opportunity on this specific space. You can find traditional solutions, but they are expensive, take too much time to do renovations, involve a lot of people, etc. And I saw, okay, I can do something that could be easy, and like 1-2 minutes is ready to be used. And I started to develop the Piipee solution. Yeah.
So, we said before how we all take this for granted. And this solution, explain to us exactly how does it work? How would I use it, for instance?
Okay, so basically what we do is to work on urine in the first moment. You know, actually 80% of the water consumption in any kind of toilets is just for urine. Of course, in urinals is 100%, but in toilets represents up to 80, and sometimes can be more even. So in the first moment when I discovered all these numbers and I said, okay, I need to do something about urine. So what I did was a chemical solution, but it's an eco-friendly solution made with natural extracts, and today we are using nanotechnology. So it's a liquid that you can use in your toilet, and instead using water on the flush, you just use our solution. Basically, instead using like 8-10 liters of water in each flush, it's just 1 ml of our solution. So you just go in the toilet and spray the solution, spray Piipee in the toilet, and you can use the toilet as you want, and it's done. You don't need to do anything else, nothing more. So it's pretty simple to use. You can use by a hand spray, or if you are a company or something, you can adapt the device. So it takes like 1 or 2 minutes to install and is ready to be used. And for the user, it's the same situation. It's just pressing a button, for example, you know. So the user don't need to activate something or, you know, turn on a machine or something, nothing. It's pretty easy to use. It's just pressing the button instead pressing the flush.
And explain to us, you know, for me, keep it simple, please. But explain to us, what is this chemical reaction that happens? What is the output or the outcome of it?
Yeah, actually, our solution do three important things. The first one works in the same moment that you use it. So it doesn't take like 30 minutes to activate or start working, etc. No, it's immediately away. So you use it, you don't feel anymore the bad smell of urine, and you even don't see the yellow color on the toilet. The second process is in our urine. I will try to explain.
So wait a minute, just to be clear, with a spray of this, it becomes colorless, odorless.
It becomes odorless, and the color, we have three options. We have the pinky color, we have the blue color, and we have the green color as well. So
okay.
You can choose, you can choose which one you prefer and the smell you prefer. We have three options of fragrances as well, so you can decide what is best for you. And it's nice. And the second process is, in our urine, 95% is just water. The other 5%, between this 5%, 2 and 3% is just urine, is just urea. So in the normal process, this urea becomes ammonia in like 10, 15 minutes later you pee. So what we do with the natural extracts is to make this 10, 15 minutes becomes 24, 48 hours. So this is the time that you can use our solution without flushing. You know, so if it is one person or 1,000 persons, doesn't matter. We work in the right way. The point is, between 1 or 2 days, we recommend to flush. You know, but you can stay all this time without flushing anymore. And the third process is we use nanotechnology to encapsulate the bad smells molecules. So imagine if you have in the air of the toilet the bad smells of ammonia, for example, our fragrance just connect with them. They become heavy and just go to the floor, go to the ground. So you just have in the air the perfume. So this is the three process that we do today.
Fascinating. So in terms of the product itself, it can be used in the home. It can be used in commercial settings. And I don't know if you have a statistic on this, but how much collectively, how much water can you see being saved?
Yeah, you know, it's a challenge for us to put the solution on the market, not because technology or something, but because the behavior, you know. And when we do all this process, it's easy to track if they are saving water because we can just look to the water bills, etc., and try to manage all these numbers. So it's more easy find the specific space that we are saving. But the main problem is to make people use the solution. I don't know if it's something special here in Brazil that people doesn't care too much about saving water, because as we have too much, maybe it's not a real problem to them sometimes, But the hardest thing that we need to do here every day is to teach people to work in their behavior, to show them the impact, how important it is to save water, and here, for example, we decided for the B2C market just to focus on the vegan market, for example, because the vegan market, they want to save water. They know that it's important to save water. The vegan people are customers. They really want to save, and they know how important it is, So we are it's so innovative, this solution, that even us are learning how to put in the market what are the perfect market fit for the solution, because we sell for companies, for example. Actually, 75% of our revenue comes from large companies, but the point is they just want to save money. They like to put the picture, hey, we are eco-friendly, saving water, but if you don't show them that you are saving money, they don't buy. So it's a huge challenge for us right now. Yeah.
Well, our time here goes by so fast. Unfortunately, it's now over. But tell us, anybody who does want to learn more, either for their home use or for their business, how can they learn more about the work you're doing?
Yeah, they can access our website, or even just put on the Google. If you put on the Google Piipee Brazil or something like this, and just the spelling of Piipee is Piippee. And you can just put it in the Google, this name, or even my name, Ezequiel Vedana. You can find more information. Or if you prefer, you can just follow me on Instagram, for example. My Instagram is Ezequiel Vedana. It's like my half name, and Vedana, my surname. And you can have all this information. And even as we are in Brazil today, we have clients in more than 15 countries. We can deliver abroad right now, and it's working well. You can just send an email or something. Even in Boston or wherever you are, you can use the solution.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for taking on this challenge. And as I said at the beginning, it is something we all take for granted. We don't think much about it. So we're grateful that you have, and that you've developed a solution that can save so much water, especially knowing that as the world's population increases and climate change impacts water quality and whatnot, water is only going to become more and more scarce. So thank you for saving the water, and we look forward to hearing of your progress and success.
Okay, thank you very much for your kind words, and it was a pleasure to be here.
And thank you for tuning in to this episode of Preview of Tomorrow. Listeners like you are essential to advancing our efforts to drive resiliency and sustainability for all. I ask that you give us a rating on Apple Podcasts or whichever streaming platform you prefer. Your feedback helps us to grow and share these brief previews of what life in the future can be. In addition to thanking our guest today, I want to thank Peter Roy and Demetria Bridges for making this podcast possible. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe and encourage others to also join us each week in previewing the possibilities of tomorrow.
Preview of Tomorrow is brought to you by Leading Cities, a global nonprofit driving resilience and sustainability for all by unleashing the potential of the world's cities. Join them at leadingcities.org.